Well, thank you very much. That was a really good introduction, actually. And to understand where Sophie's thoughts are coming from, I think what's good for me is to see how we're developing systems, and hopefully with the talk which I'm about to give, we will tell you what we're trying to do and where we fit in with the system. So my position is I work for Toshiba. I come from a smart metering background, a company called Landis & Gear. They supply a lot of the smart meters to the energy suppliers in the UK. And what's really good for me is now we're getting to the stage where this is going to happen. The go live button for the UK smart metering program is about to happen this year. And for being in the UK for 5 years and doing exports overseas, now is the opportunity where we can look at the home and we can use smart metering as the platform to provide real true added value benefits. So when you look at the Internet of Things, some people get scared. We think that we could use this technology and use smart meters as the platform to provide the services. So this is the Utopia home, and I don't know how many people sitting here in the room live in a place like that. I don't, okay? But what we want to do is how can we put together technology from the smart metering aspects into the homes? And we want to look at this as a social benefit. We want to be able to look at smart metering as a way that we could take data and we can help inform, educate, automate the consumer to make better choices, and also provide some healthcare benefits. So just a little play about what Toshiba are doing. We're very pleased and proud to be part of the program. We're supplying 13 million communication hubs to one of the communication service providers, Telefonica. That gives us a massive opportunity to understand how the system works. How does the security work? What does it mean for the smart metering program? What does it mean for the consumer? What can we do for partners? But what we're not going to do as Toshiba is bring this to market under our name, because we think there's much better, or many more people out there who provide services to the local health providers, to housing associations, to energy suppliers, that we could act as a partner with them. So what we are looking at, this is SMIP. This is the smart metering program in the UK. So we have the data communications company, you may be aware of them, the energy suppliers, the gas and electric network operators, and licensed third parties that access the DCC. But then we've got the mandated products, the electric meter, the gas meter, the in-home display, and sitting on top of that is one of our comms hubs. So that provides a really good solid foundation for getting data back from the house through the network to the energy suppliers or trusted third parties. Where we see there's an actual additional benefit is to provide this product here, which is called the CAD, the Consumer Access Device. So this fits in as part of the ecosystem of the smart metering system and DCC. So that means that we're using the same communications, we're using the same security to provide added value products around the home. So what we're not trying to do is create a system that just turns a light bulb on because you're walking down the driveway. What we're trying to do is put together a system that will enable social health care providers to look at when somebody's boiling a kettle, or when somebody's turning the heating on, when somebody's turning the oven on. And we're providing this through cloud management, which means that could link back securely through to third parties, to the energy suppliers or other interested parties. So the actual consumer access device itself, we believe that we've got some specific use cases, and this is about assisted living. If we could find out remotely how people are living inside the property, are they living, and for my parents, for instance, I would like to know that they are living in a temperature that is good for their health. I would like to have the opportunity to put money onto their gas meter, electric meter, so they can live in a warm environment. And if they do, I would like to be able to look at, the temperature of their house. And if it is too low, tell them. Or, in the case of more big mother than big brother, turn the temperature up. But we can also if we was to link other sensors to this, such as mobility sensors, movement sensors, then if people walk around the house, we know that, especially if they're alone, that they're moving. Then we can tie these sensors and these messages to others, and that gives a real benefit. So if we were to add, for instance, carbon monoxide or smoke detectors or flood detectors, then we can start doing some asset management as well. So if you live in a local housing association, you may want to look at the temperature degradation What does that provide? Well, over a period of time, you'll be able to look at how quickly does a room lose heat. Does that mean that the insulation is working? Do the windows in that house in stock, are they suitable? Or is somebody leaving a window open and heating a draft? If we put flood sensors in, 21% of the claims in the UK are for water damage. Not weather damage, but water damage by leakage. So if you can put something, a sensor under the plinth, under a boiler, you know if something's about to fail, then you could do preventive repair rather than actual repairing the whole system, which gives inconvenience to the user, gives additional cost. So we believe that if we was to bring sensors in place, then we provide a much better system. But ultimately, you've got to engage with the consumer. There's no point in having assisted living and assisted management or asset management without engaging with the consumer. So what we are trying to do is engage with the customer by giving constant tips, constant feedback. What are they using? When are they using? What are they using it on? How can we put the system in place to benefit them and the wider community? So really, if you look at it, the consumer should have peace of mind. They should have convenience, but they should also have the ability to do energy saving and money saving techniques. And I think this is really key to gain long-term acceptance. So, if we've got a connected home, you don't have to be scared about the concept of a connected home. You could provide healthcare benefits, you could have insurance, added value purposes, but the consumer with a device such as a CAD or an in-home display unit or other browser systems is in control on their data. Who sees their data, when and how? So security is paramount to this. But I've put an energy supplier as being the hub for components for a smart city or a smart community, because I was speaking with Smart Energy GB last week with Claire, and there was a poll within the audience such as this, and the audience thought that the energy suppliers were the best positioned to supply the connected community, the smart community. And this means doing aspects on prepayment, how we can do some demand-side management. And if you start offering incentives for the consumers to turn heating off or certain devices off at peak periods, what rewards do they get back? You know, if it means delaying the start of your washing machine till after 10 p.m, but that's going to save you an extra 30%, pass that back to the consumer and give them proof that they're going to get that system, that they're going to get those savings, sorry. So I think we've got a massive opportunity here to use smart meters to prove to people how much they're saving. And that creates the smart community. So, really exciting opportunity about how the consumer sees this. We're working and we're doing a range of apps that speak to the CAD and get information from the smart meter itself. So we've always put accessibility as core of our design. So the color contrasts, how the graph looks, the information on the page. We spent a lot of time and effort working with consumers to understand what do they want to use, how do they want to see it, and how can we make it scalable and transferable to a larger system. So not only does the consumer get to see some information, but obviously the people providing a service layer to them can look at a different source. And I mentioned temperature before. If you look at the graph of the temperature reduction, that's quite boring for a consumer to look at. But if you get messages coming back saying, you know what, you've got a sensor on your window, that's open, you've got your central heating on, it's costing you 30% more to do so. If you shut your window and then turn your heating on, that's where you're going to make your savings. So what we want to do is provide a multi-platform for a whole host of service providers. So how can we do this? This is information that we can get from a smart meter, a standard smart meter which is going to be rolled out in a couple of months' time when the green button goes. So what we can do is look at the signature between a fridge, a washing machine, tumble dryer, and look at that information there. That doesn't mean a great deal to me. It wouldn't mean a great deal to probably many people in the room. But if you're looking at a supervisory level, and that's the sort of data you're getting back from a certain demographic or a certain address or a certain postcode, then you can start looking at this information and thinking, okay, are they turning the washing machines on at night time? But specifically when it comes to social health care, are they turning the kettle on? If someone's been released from hospital Do you want to know that they're turning the kettle on, that they're turning the heating on, they're turning the oven on? If you put a sensor, a simple magnetic sensor which costs £10, £15 on a drawer, as soon as you open the cutlery drawer, they're taking implements out to feed or make a cup of tea. And if you couple that with the kettle usage, then you can get some remote access or some remote monitoring to know that they're living in a healthy environment. And this is the sort of information that we can put on the screen. So what are you using when? Once you start informing and educating, then you can start providing tips and hints on how to save money. So once you inform, educate, you can do the automation. You can look at a room. Who's going to use this? Is it going to be the master user? Is it going to be your family or friends? Or is it going to be a social provider? But once you start looking at products, we can control, we can put schedules in place for heating. You can look at the daily electricity usage and you can work out how many you're using. But I think what's really interesting is when we start bringing prepayment into this as well. We can look at doing remote top-ups through this device. This will speak through the internet to the CAD, through DCC, to make sure that everything around the security protocols is adhered to. But if you can show someone the balance, this is what you got on your meter, how many days you got left, and then work out a schedule to utilise and maximise that benefit for others. I think that's a really powerful feature. So, in summary, what we believe we can do with the smart metering program, that is the absolute foundation for putting in technology that can help cut emissions, cut energy costs and usage, and optimise how that is used for the consumer, but open that up to the wider good. And I'm very pleased to speak. If anyone wants to have a chat with me outside, then I can talk through what we're trying to do, or what we are doing, sorry. Okay, thank you very much.